We are here today with our brand new workshop, Healing Your Relationship with Yourself. Now, today, when I call this a workshop, that means that we are actually going to work on healing our relationship with ourselves today. And so very easily after this hour, in fact, the 30-minute show is the training and workshop. And then after the 30-minute recording, we're going to go into the private. If you're in here in the Zoom room, you'll have private time with me. So get your notebooks out, get your pen out. I have cracked the code to healing your relationship with yourself. Now, I've worked with many people from all around the world for many, many years in my private coaching agency, as well as in my academy, with courses and training and healing and breakthrough sessions. So I've worked with many, many, many women and a good number of men as well, who have been working on healing their relationship with themselves, AKA healing their life, right? Because when we're healing our life, we're also healing the relationship that we have with ourselves. So along the journey, I have been able to watch it happen with many people, many clients, many students of mine. And I have been doing the same for myself. You know, in the healing industry, they always say the healer must heal thyself first. It doesn't mean you have to wait to begin working with clients and students before you feel that you have fully accomplished all of your personal goals, because you're going to accomplish your personal goals along your journey. You do have to make sure that you have some certifications, some training, or some licensing, or some diplomas, something that gives you some education behind coaching, mentor, and teaching and healing and working with clients. But other than that, you need to get going. Well, on my journey, I have cracked the code of healing your relationship with yourself because I've done it for myself. And let me tell you, it has been a journey. So we have 3 things that I'm going to give you. 3 things that you need to change in order to heal your relationship with yourself. And the good news is, once you heal the relationship with yourself, you're able to heal your relationship with everyone else. And when I figured out that the only reason my relationship with others was struggling is because my relationship with myself was struggling, that was a huge day of freedom for me, because I am able to control myself and what I do, but I'm not able to control others, right? So get excited that everything, the power lies within you. And it doesn't mean that the other people are necessarily going to act completely different, although they may, because the dynamics of the relationship does change when you heal your relationship with yourself. So quite possibly they might change their behavior, but what's going to change is you. And that's going to make the dynamics change automatically because you have changed. Now, the great thing is you're not going to need the other person to change in the relationship for you to be able to work inside of that relationship successfully. I know that might sound crazy. It might actually sound unbelievable, but it is true. And I'm going to describe why. Okay. So welcome everyone who's tuning in live. Thank you for being here and investing an hour of your time today in order to create a healthier and happier relationship with yourself, and then hence with others. So number 1, I'm going to explain something to you before we go into the 3 things you're going to change. So this is going to be number 1 point to understand. Having a relationship with yourself that isn't very healthy and it isn't happy is a learned behavior. Okay. We learn it from the people either who have raised us primarily, or from other people around us that we interact with along our journey in life. And we end up duplicating it accidentally without even realizing it, without even knowing it. And for a lot of people, it's a family generational, I wouldn't call it legacy. I don't want to call it a curse, but I want to say a repeated pattern. So oftentimes it's a family repeated pattern. So if somebody has a parent who's, for instance, an alcoholic and is in a self-hating relationship with themselves, and they're masking it and escaping from it with alcohol or with drugs, and sometimes it's not with alcohol or drugs, sometimes it could be gambling, and other times it could be promiscuous relationships, having affairs, maybe on your other parent, or it could just be numbing and just abandoning themselves and their family and not being emotionally available. And it's because their relationship with themselves is not, they're not emotionally available for themselves. Okay. So when we grow up with a parent that is like that, then that's normally how they are with us as well. Now, the other kind is the learned behavior, maybe that we were trained that if we don't do a certain thing or behave a certain way, then we get punished. Okay. And sometimes the punishment is overly extreme for you as a person. And each of us are different along our journey. So for one child, it might be okay, a certain kind of punishing or parenting style. And for another child, it wouldn't work for them. So then we might have one sibling come out well in the family and well adjusted and happy, and then the other one is not well adjusted, and it's because they got the same exact parenting and the parent didn't adjust the parenting style for the individual, which can be really difficult when you're raising children and trying to pay the bills and do all the laundry and cook all the food and manage a relationship with your husband or wife, or maybe you're dating and looking for your spouse, and managing all the relationships at work. There's a lot to do. So we can't blame our parents and say, well, I'm messed up because they're messed up. I mean, we could, and it wouldn't be far-fetched. It wouldn't be far from the truth. The thing is as adults, though, we are responsible for healing our relationship with ourselves and with others, and learning and growing from what we've already gone through on our journey. So I did get excited when I understood that it was a learned behavior, though, because oftentimes we label ourselves and give ourselves an identity that we are this sick person who can't figure out how to be happy or healthy with ourselves. And we have a judgment upon ourselves of being incapable. And then one day we find out that we learned this behavior from someone else and we just duplicated it without even really thinking about it or realizing it. And it was modeled or demonstrated to us so many times along our journey that it just became ours. So life is contagious, right? We can catch the positive and the not positive from others. Now, once you've decided to just accept that most likely, if you're working on healing your relationship with yourself, you learned it from someone else, that does take some pressure off of yourself. And that alone begins to heal your relationship with yourself, because you're like, oh, silly, you just picked that up from others. You can let that go now. Right. And you can be loving with yourself instead of hating yourself. So I remember so many teachers along the way told me you just have to step into unconditional love for yourself. You just have to step into unconditional self-love. And so initially that sounded easy, like, okay, so I would go back and do my homework and start stepping into unconditional self-love. And I was finding that along the journey of healing to be very challenging for me. Who's with me on that? Who also said, okay, I'm going to go unconditionally love myself. And then as they were working on it, they were finding this to be like something that we didn't have a recipe for. We didn't have a role model. Sometimes some of us have not had role models. Others have been very blessed and very lucky to have a role model. And they were able to contagiously adopt their plan for just loving themselves. So the people who are tuning into this are either listening to it for themselves today or for somebody else, or you're a healer yourself and you have a business or a private practice or a base of clients and students that you work with, and you're like, well, any nuggets I can add would be great. So all of you are welcome today for whatever reason that you're tuning in. This 30-minute recorded show will be going out on the Faith and Inspiration channel inside of the Win-Win Women Network, which is in Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV into 195 nations around the world. We already have several episodes floating through cable view or cable television land internationally now, because we've been broadcasting for almost a year. And today I'm talking about cracking the code to healing the relationship with yourself. So we have now accepted, or at least revealed, the learned behavior component, and we can now step into the 3 things to change. And this is the 3 secrets to cracking the code to healing your relationship with yourself. Number 1, expectations. When we have a self-hate going on or a hard and unhealthy relationship with ourselves, it's because we have expectations of ourselves or expectations of others that are not being met. And it could be that you have already decided that at this point in your life, you should already be at a certain place, meaning, okay, you're looking at yourself, you're saying, I'm this many years old. Let's say you're 55 years old. I'm 55 years old. And by now I would have expected to have my finances in a really healthy place, ownership of my home and have it paid off, my future retirement plans all settled, and just be working the next 10 years to finish off those goals. And instead, you might be saying, but instead, I'm starting all over again from scratch. Nothing is in order. It's all in disarray. And I completely screwed myself up and ruined my life. So I've met a lot of people like that who are just feeling like my life has gone on a path that I never imagined in my wildest dreams or nightmares, maybe. I've never thought of my life going in this direction and being at this place and feeling like I have to work so very hard. And then looking at other people and they've got it all figured out. And then just deciding that I'm dumb or stupid. Who relates to that? Now, you don't have to raise your hand if you don't want to, but when we get to the unrecorded part of the show, we're going to go into actually working on these things together today. And other people feel like, wow, I should have been married and have children right now and been, getting ready to have my children graduate from college. Instead, I'm not married. Instead, I have no children. This isn't how I thought my life was going to go. All my friends are running around with their spouses, going on vacations and posting pictures on social media of their graduating students, their children that are graduating from prestigious colleges. And how did I make all this mess in my life? Where is my life? What's going on? So a lot of people are feeling like that. And after COVID and the changes in the economy, some people are doing really well and way better than they were before COVID. Other people are doing way worse than before COVID. And some people are like, I don't know what happened. And they're kind of just clueless. I've met all different types of people that are handling all the ebbs and flows and ups and downs and waves of life differently. And that's what makes the world go around, right? However, if you feel like, how did I not figure out how to come through it doing better? I thought I was really smart. I have a college education. I've done a lot of things already. I've accomplished A, B, C, D, and you might have a big list of accomplishments. And so with all of that, you're going, how did I miss the boat? And where am I? And why am I in this place right now? And then others are going, oh yeah, I know why I'm where I'm at. I quit life like a decade ago. So some people are not confused. They know exactly what they did and they're mad at themselves because they did quit and they haven't been able to figure out how to get back on the bandwagon of putting effort forward to have a healthy life. In fact, it's kind of consoling because you can just say, well, I know why I'm where I'm at. I quit. And then there is an answer. Now you're not confused and you feel like you at least controlled the situation, because a lot of us feel a lack of control, and that makes it difficult. And then we just feel like, well, I don't know what to do, so I'm not going to do anything. And then pretty soon we're facing homelessness because we're not working, we're not paying our bills. And if we don't get our act together, then we're going to have to live in a tent instead of under the roof that we have grown at least fairly comfortable with. It might not be the roof that we want. It might not be the home we wanted to own or whatever, but it's better sometimes than what it could be. And so we have to learn to be happy with what we have. So the first thing with number one of expectations of self and others, remember, when we aren't meeting our expectations for ourselves and for others, we have a choice. In that place of seeing that we're not meeting our expectations for ourselves, or others are not meeting the expectations we had of them, or the other people are not happy because we haven't met their expectations. I'm sure you all know what I mean, because sometimes, you know, our mother or father or grandmother or grandfather or siblings expected more from us. And sometimes they are very vocal about it and they'll say things to you. They might even say, what are you wearing today? Why do you have that hairstyle? I thought you would wear makeup. Why don't you wear makeup? I mean, they say the craziest things, right? And then we're not meeting their expectations. And so there's different levels of expectations that are not being met. Well, the first thing that has gone away in that number one place when we are not meeting expectations is if we are not okay with that, then we are coming from a place of, which is number two on the list. Get ready for number two, judgment. Judgment of self or of others, or others' judgment of you. So either the other people are judging you and you are not able to say, I am what I am. Too bad for you if you don't like it. I make no apologies. And you haven't stepped into that place of, I love myself. I am where I want to be. I am accomplishing what I wanted to accomplish. I'm sorry, it's not what you wanted me to accomplish. And bringing that self-love in. Now, the other thing is when expectations are being held against you, and sometimes it's you holding them against yourself, what happens is you're not in a place of gratitude. And what we could be doing instead is we could be saying, I'm so thankful that I'm healthy and I am able to function. I'm so healthy that I actually have enough energy to go take a walk. It might not be easy because I haven't been doing enough movement lately, but let's get on the bandwagon and I can start exercising and moving blood flow through my brain, oxygen through my brain, which is going to click on the neurotransmitters and I can stop feeling so depressed and anxiety. So number one, stop having expectations of yourself that are so much higher than where you're at. Now, that doesn't mean, just drop all of them and have no goals, no dreams, and no direction. What it means is bring your expectations down to where you're at and then just adjust them a little bit above where you're at and then climb to that place and then go ahead and raise your expectations again a little bit above that place and then climb to that place. That means you're going to have to start climbing the ladder of life again. And some people are mad because it's like, I already did this. Why am I doing this all over again? I was over here and now I'm down here. Now I got to climb back up again. And then we get mad and then anger comes in. And so then we have to go ahead and let go of that anger and say, it's okay. And let our ego just relax and say, it is okay if I have to start over again. It is okay. This is always another day, is another chance to start over again in life. And so I saw when I started working with clients, I was able to see in myself what they were doing to themselves. And before I was watching others, I wasn't seeing it in myself. I didn't have that advantage. And so I'm going to tell you that what I saw is that they were better at loving other people and lowering their expectations to accept other people's maybe lack of being where they could be or should be, and giving them like a hall pass and giving them non-judgment and, forgiveness, but they couldn't do it for themselves. So who in this room realizes that you're way better at giving other people a hall pass if they're not really meeting their expectations of self and others, but we're not good at doing it for ourselves. We're not good at saying, okay, it's okay. You're back at the beginning line again. You're starting the race over again, and it's going to just have to be okay because it's where we're at, and we're going to love ourselves through it, and we're going to get there. And maybe what's going to happen is we're going to get there in a better way, a more beautiful way, a healthier way, a happier way. And there must be a reason why this is all in divine order. So if you actually start having the attitude of gratitude and then the attitude of, I know that God is conspiring in my favor, because God's always conspiring in my favor. So if God is conspiring in my favor, which I don't think so right now, because it doesn't look like it to me. But if that was actually true, why would this place where I am in my life right now be the best place for me right now? Why would this place help me to learn my soul lessons that I came to learn and then execute successfully my soul missions and really knock it out of the park? Why would this be helping me to be so successful in my journey of life? And I look back on it now and I'm able to easily see how the 15-year journey that I went through as a single mom and helping my son to heal various different things that really took me off my career path. And I had to start really just learning how to do healing work. And you're going to laugh, but 15 years ago, I thought that I was completely off track of my life and that I was giving up my career and myself in order to be a mother, which I was okay with because I didn't think my mother had really put out as much into motherhood as I would have wanted. So I thought I'm just going to be better at motherhood than what I learned from my mother. Come to find out, my mother was really good. She just had a different way of approaching it. And it took me maturity and growing to really understand that and to see how certain things I was trying to learn how to do, like self-love, she had that mastered. Instead, I thought she was selfish. And then I figured out, no, that's not being selfish. That's having self-love instead of self-deprecation. So it took a long time to figure all that out. So sometimes we have to just readjust our opinion of what we're seeing. Okay, so now let's move more deeply into number 2, judgment. So if we release judgment of ourselves and judgment of others, or if we stop allowing others' judgment on us to affect us, then we can heal our relationship with ourselves. Because quite frankly, if you're going to run around making sure that everyone else's opinion of you is met by what you're doing or not doing, you're just going to turn into a circus clown. You're going to be running around trying to make her, okay, well, my mom wants me to do this. My dad wants this. My aunt over there, Matilda, she wants this. Uncle so-and-so wants that. My sister wants this. And you're just going to be a circus clown running in circles, trying to figure out how to make every single person happy and meet all of their requirements of their expectations of you. So the day that you decide that you don't give a two hoots anymore and you're going to make yourself happy is the day that you have stepped into a personal relationship with yourself that can have love and kindness and caring, because it's not kind to yourself if you abandon yourself, self-abandon, and then run for the other person's opinion and make sure that it's satisfied and forget your own love and care of what you care about. Forget your own opinion, forget who you want to be, throw your own dreams out in the garbage can and just say, okay, their dreams for me are more important than my own. That's self-abandonment. So inside of judgment, if you continue judging yourself and letting others judge you and have that control your life, then you're just abandoning yourself. So when you stop judging yourself and say, okay, apparently I'm here. Apparently I was supposed to learn this lesson again. How many of you feel like again is appropriate? Because you're like, haven't I already learned this 3 or 4 times? I thought I mastered it by now. And here we are. I guess I'm having a final exam. I see Hannah's got laughing, crying face going. So I see she resonates totally. Okay. So you know what? If you're learning it again, then it's because you have to. Because as soon as you don't need to, you're not going to learn it again. You're going to be on to other things and you're going to be learning something else, something new, because life is a journey of learning and becoming. So we're always going to be becoming the next version of ourselves. We're always going to be working on changing some things. I remember when my son said to me one day, so basically, Mom, you want me to change? And I'm like, yes, I make no apologies for it. We all have to change. If we're acting selfish, we need to start coming into, okay, we do have to love ourselves. Yes, we have to put ourselves first so that we don't, fall apart. And we do have to fill ourselves up and nurture ourselves. But at the same time, we can't just completely walk all over everybody in the process of trying to make yourself feel better. So there has to be a balancing act here. And if we're somebody who's not necessarily super motivated, and we know that we need to have some more motivation in order to accomplish our goals and pay our bills and have a healthy, happy life, well, then we're going to be working on motivation. We're probably going to get a book on it. We're probably going to find some friends or new acquaintances that are motivated, or a teacher or a coach. And we're going to start spending more time listening to them or talking to them so that we can catch the bug, right? Because again, life is contagious. So you need to hang around with people, read their books, watch their videos, go to their classes, possibly coach with them and mentor with them who have what you want so that you can catch it from them. You're actually receiving their vibration and frequency when you either read their book or watch their video or have a conversation with them. And so any of you right now who are like, okay, I had a lot of success in my life and now I don't. There's a book that would be really great for you to read by somebody who had a lot of ups and downs along the way. And she became very, very famous. Some of you might love her. Others of you might hate her because she had a very controversial stage presence. However, I did actually make friends with her in the back room, in the green room, and the shopping channel in Canada when I was selling my skincare and cosmetics on television. And her name is Joan Rivers. I know she's been gone for a while, and I know she's got a lot of controversy around her. Her stage presence was very loud, boisterous, and it was probably more dirty or raw than some people would enjoy. When I met her in person, she was a totally different person. She was actually very relaxed, soft-spoken, gentle, kind. And I was like, whoa, is this Joan Rivers? I didn't even recognize her. And I have really grown to understand her journey better by reading one of her books. So I can recommend it to you for those of you who want to, because she's got a few different books. Now, 1 or 2 of them have her raunchy jokes in them. And those are not my favorite because I don't love the raunchy joke scene, but there's other books where she's just talking as a woman about her journey and about her marriage and her children and her career. And then she talks about how to heal herself because she had to heal herself. So it's actually a very healing book. And so if you are interested in being able to see her viewpoint on how she became very successful and then very poor, and then she had to build her life again, and then she didn't have a husband anymore. All these things that she went through, and then lost her relationship with her daughter for a while after her husband committed suicide. So she went through a lot of things, and this book is actually very well done without all the raunchy jokes inside of it. So it's just, you feel like you're talking to your sister or your mother instead of a bad joke comedian, or not a bad joke comedian, a raunchy joke comedian. So I will definitely, if you want information on which book that is, put it in the chat line here, and I will put your email in a chat line, and I'll email it over to you so that you have that. And you can also look through all of them that she has on Amazon. Okay, now number 3. The third and final thing that you need to change in order to heal your relationship with yourself, which again, once you do that, then you can easily heal your relationship with others, is, are you ready? Punishment of self and lack of nurturing to yourself as a form of punishment. That's normally what we do. We even put ourselves on timeout. We put ourselves in jail almost, because we don't let ourselves go do anything sometimes. I know a lot of people who've gone through that stage, and maybe people who are still in it. And then sometimes we don't even let ourselves go get our hair done. We don't even let ourselves put skincare and makeup on. We don't let ourselves get a new pair of panties or bra. Sometimes we won't let ourselves go out with our friends, or we won't let ourselves buy healthy, good food. And we'll put ourselves on this stringent program because we think we can't afford anything. And that's actually probably true. Your checkbook probably does represent that you can't afford any of those things. However, guess what? If you set yourself free to change the way you bring in money, okay? If your money has suddenly gone down and it has kind of vanished, and you're judging yourself and your whole self-opinion is based on your finances, get with it. Listen, by the way, I went through that stage too, so I can say that because I had to tell myself to get with it. You're going to have to make it a little bit or a lot differently than how you did it before. And guess what? It's part of your soul mission. All right. When I was thinking I was losing my career and I was no longer able to focus on selling my products on the shopping channel on television, because I had to go to all these doctor's appointments and all these crazy education appointments, and I just literally couldn't navigate the corporate world while I was trying to heal myself and my son, because then I became very sick as well from depression and anxiety because nothing was going my way. It wasn't going the way I wanted it to. Expectations were completely shot to the moon in a bad way, not a good way. Punishment came into place. Well, guess what? You have to start nurturing yourself again, even if it's just little things, just little nurturing. Because what I found out is my career was changing back then. I wasn't just going to be the skincare and cosmetic queen. I was now going to be a healing and coaching queen along with the cosmetics. Nothing I ever had on my resume or on my goals list when I was younger to do, of course. I should have recognized that I did go to college for psychology, but somehow I just kind of went on a different direction. And communication, I have a bachelor in psychology and communication. So my younger person knew what I was supposed to be doing, but somehow life got a hold of me, and now I was doing all these other things that wasn't what I had started out. And guess what? The journey of life brought me back to where I was supposed to be, what I had soul contracted for, what my soul missions were. And I kind of, because of being stubborn, had to get slapped in the face with it. So if you feel like you're being slapped in the face by life right now, just know that your soul is helping to get you on track to where you're supposed to be in your life right now. And instead of fighting it, go with it. So, I'm going to add a number 4 to this, even though I started out with 3 things, because I'm channeling this. And what's coming in is number 4 is stop fighting the journey of life. Instead, go with it and make an incredible outcome with what doors are opening for you, and stop saying no to all the doors that are opening for you and shutting them and going, no, I don't want that one. No, I don't want one. I want that one. Stop being a spoiled brat and saying, oh, it's got to be my way. Because guess what? Your soul, your inner knowing knows where you're supposed to be right now. And you just might not be self-aware and in tune with it. I know myself, I wasn't self-aware for about 12 years. I finally figured it out. So I can kind of make fun of myself now instead of hating myself. And I can just kind of giggle about it and go, oh, silly Camille, you just didn't get it for a while. And I can actually lovingly do that. But for a long time, I was mad at myself. So if you're mad at yourself, stop it, because your soul knows where you're supposed to be right now. And your soul is guiding you to your true bliss, because when you are on track, you will find true bliss. And it might not look anything like what you wrote down in your goals list as to what you thought it was supposed to be. It might look very different, but your soul does know where you are supposed to be.